In one country, chewing gum can land you a $70,000 fine. In another, your waistline is measured by law. There's a country where handling a fish suspiciously can get you 2 years in prison, another where running out of gas is illegal, and one where you must leave your car unlocked because bears need somewhere to hide. From laws written to protect an emperor's dignity to regulations that measure your waistline, these are the 10 laws so bizarre you won't believe they're real. Number 10. United Kingdom. Under Section 32 of the Salmon Act 1986, it is illegal to handle salmon in suspicious circumstances. Yes, that is the actual wording. The law was introduced to combat salmon poaching, which was a multi-million-pound criminal enterprise in 1980s Britain. Poachers would net salmon from rivers at night and sell them to restaurants and export markets. The phrase suspicious circumstances was deliberately broad, allowing police to stop and question anyone carrying a large quantity of fresh salmon at 3 a.m. without having to prove they personally caught it. In 2017, a man in North Yorkshire was actually charged under this act after being found at 2 a.m. with several large salmon in his car boot near a river known for poaching. Despite calls to repeal it during a 2012 parliamentary review, fisheries officers argued the law remains useful. The penalty? Up to 2 years imprisonment. Handling salmon in suspicious circumstances has become a beloved internet meme and proof that British lawmakers have an unusual sense of humor. But the law is real, it's enforced, and somewhere in England right now, a salmon is being handled with perfect legality. Number 9. Barbados. In Barbados, it is illegal for anyone, including children, to wear camouflage clothing. The same law exists in Antigua, St. Lucia, Trinidad, Jamaica, and several other Caribbean nations. After independence, these countries experienced political instability and coup attempts. The camouflage ban prevents civilians from impersonating military personnel, which could facilitate coups or cause confusion during security operations. The ban extends to camouflage patterned bags, hats, and accessories. American tourists are the most frequent offenders, often arriving in camo shorts from military surplus stores. Some Caribbean airports have signs specifically warning about this. In one reported case, a tourist had their only pair of pants confiscated and had to buy new ones at the airport gift shop before being allowed into the country. Customs officers actively enforce this. If you're packing for the Caribbean, leave the camo at home. It's not a fashion crime. It's an actual crime. Number 8. Australia. In the state of Victoria, under the Summary Offences Act of 1966, it is illegal to fly a kite to the annoyance of any person. Under the same act, it is also illegal to sing an obscene ballad in public. These laws aren't relics of the 1800s. They were formally codified in 1966. In the 19th century, Melbourne streets were narrow and congested. Kites tangled in telegraph wires, an expensive new technology. They spooked horses and blocked pedestrian traffic. When the laws were consolidated, these provisions were carried over unchanged. A 2013 law review identified over 100 dead-letter laws still technically enforceable in Victoria, including the kite provision. The last known prosecution for annoying kite flying was in the 1920s, when a man repeatedly flew a large box kite that frightened horses on Collins Street. Despite recommendations to repeal, the law survives because legislators have higher priorities. The penalty, approximately $925 Australian dollars. So if you're planning to fly a kite in Melbourne, make sure nobody finds it annoying, which, admittedly, is hard to guarantee. Number 7. Germany. In Germany, running out of fuel on the Autobahn is illegal. Under the road traffic regulations, stopping on the motorway is prohibited except in genuine emergencies, and running out of fuel is not considered an emergency. It's considered negligence. The Autobahn has sections with no speed limit where cars routinely travel at 200 kilometers per hour. A stationary vehicle at those speeds is extraordinarily dangerous. Gas stations are spaced every 50 to 60 kilometers, and fuel gauges provide adequate warning. The penalty, a €70 fine and 1 point on your driving record. Accumulate 8 points and you lose your license. If your stopped vehicle causes an accident, you face criminal liability. Electric vehicle owners created a new dimension to this law. In 2022, German legal experts confirmed that running out of battery counts the same as running out of fuel. Same fine, same point. This led to a spike in roadside assistance calls from EV drivers who didn't realize that driving at 200 kilometers per hour drains a battery 3 times faster than city driving. Walking on the Autobahn to fetch fuel is also illegal. So if you run out, you've broken 2 laws before you've even left your car. Number 6. Canada. In Jasper, Alberta, it is illegal to lock your car doors. This isn't a property crime measure. It's a bear survival law. Jasper National Park is home to a large population of black bears and grizzly bears. Bear encounters on streets and parking lots are common, especially during spring and fall. Parks Canada determined that an unlocked car could be the difference between life and death for a pedestrian surprised by a bear. The logic is simple. If a bear charges you, you need to get into the nearest vehicle immediately. Fumbling with keys or finding a locked door could be fatal. Jasper residents have reported returning to their cars to find them occupied by bears. Black bears have learned to open car doors by hooking the handle. In one well-known incident, a bear opened a car door, climbed in, accidentally knocked the gear shift, and the car rolled downhill into a ditch. The town's relationship with bears is so normalized that the tourism website includes instructions on what to do if you find a bear in your car. The answer: don't approach, call Parks Canada. In Jasper, your car isn't really yours. It's a shared resource between you and the local wildlife. Number 5. Italy. In multiple Italian coastal municipalities, it is illegal to build a sandcastle on the beach. Eraclea, near Venice, along with towns in Sardinia, Puglia, and Liguria, have enacted ordinances banning sandcastle construction as part of broader beach conduct regulations. The bans were introduced to reduce litter, prevent obstructions, and maintain decorum on beaches that are often privately licensed concessions. But the real story is Sardinia. Taking sand, shells, or pebbles from Sardinian beaches carries a fine of up to €3,000. In 2019, a French couple was caught trying to leave Sardinia with 40 kilograms, that's 88 pounds, of sand stuffed into 14 plastic bottles in their car trunk. That same summer, authorities confiscated approximately 10 tons of sand, shells, and pebbles from tourists at ports and airports. Jars of souvenir sand reportedly sell on eBay, which Italian authorities have tried to crack down on. The sandcastle penalty ranges from 25 to €250. So next time you're on an Italian beach with your kids, think carefully before reaching for that bucket and spade. Your sandcastle might cost you more than your hotel room. Number 4. France. Until 2013, it was illegal to insult the president of France, and by extension, it was illegal to name your pig Napoleon. The pig naming prohibition dates to the Napoleonic era. Napoleon Bonaparte was famously sensitive to ridicule, and naming farm animals after the emperor was considered sedition, a way peasants could insult the ruler with plausible deniability. The broader law, Article 26 of the 1881 Press Law, criminalized offending the president, carrying fines up to €45,000. George Orwell's Animal Farm famously featured a pig named Napoleon as a satirical dictator, often cited alongside this law. The 2013 repeal was prompted by a specific incident. In 2008, a protester held up a sign quoting President Sarkozy's own words back at him. The protester was fined €30. The case caused an uproar about free speech and led directly to the law's repeal. French farmers today reportedly name their pigs after politicians with some regularity and no legal consequences. So the pig Napoleon is now officially free to exist in France. Whether a pig would consider that an honor is another question entirely. Number 3. Switzerland. In many Swiss apartment buildings, it is illegal to flush the toilet after 10 p.m. Swiss federal and cantonal noise regulations impose strict quiet hours, and in apartment buildings, the house rules carry legal weight. Flushing, running a bath, and showering after 10 p.m. are prohibited or strongly discouraged. In some buildings, men must sit down to urinate after 10 p.m. because the sound of standing urination carries through the pipes. Switzerland is one of the most densely populated countries in Europe, with roughly 58% of the population living in rental apartments. Older Swiss plumbing systems are genuinely loud, and a flush at midnight can sound like Niagara Falls through shared walls. One Zurich tenant reportedly received a formal complaint after a neighbor documented 14 post-10 p.m. flushes in a single month using a stopwatch. While police won't arrest you for a single flush, landlords can issue warnings, and repeated violations can be grounds for lease termination. Swiss courts have upheld evictions based on persistent noise violations during quiet hours. In Switzerland, even your bladder is expected to follow the rules. Number 2. Japan. In Japan, your waistline is measured by law. The Metabo law, enacted in 2008, requires annual waistline measurements for all citizens aged 40 to 74 during mandatory health checkups. The maximum, 85 centimeters, that's 33.5 inches for men, 90 centimeters, 35.4 inches for women. Companies and local governments must ensure their employees are measured. Those who exceed the limit receive mandatory dietary guidance. If a company fails to have enough employees meet the targets, the company faces increased contributions to the National Healthcare Fund. This creates enormous corporate pressure. Major companies like NEC and Hitachi offer subsidized gym memberships and office exercise equipment. Some companies run Metabo challenges with prizes for the most waist reduction. When the law was introduced, some salarymen reportedly wrapped their stomachs in plastic wrap before checkups or timed their measurements for early morning before eating. Critics pointed out an irony. Sumo wrestlers, Japan's most celebrated athletes, would be flagged as metabolic risks. They're exempted because they operate under sports medicine frameworks. Despite Japan having one of the lowest obesity rates in the world at roughly 4%, compared to over 40% in the United States, the government decided prevention was cheaper than treatment. They may be right, but it means that in Japan, your employer has a legal interest in the size of your stomach. Number 1. Thailand. In Thailand, stepping on money is a crime punishable by up to 15 years in prison. Thai banknotes and coins bear the image of the king, and under Section 112 of the Criminal Code, defaming or insulting the monarchy in any way is a serious offense. Because the foot is considered the lowest and most impure part of the body in Thai culture, while the king is considered sacred, placing your foot on the king's image is one of the most severe violations imaginable. Travel guides consistently warn tourists, if a banknote blows away in the wind, do not step on it to stop it. Instead, crouch down and pick it up by hand. Some expats report seeing Thai locals dive to catch wind-blown bills rather than risk the foot-on-face scenario. Between 2014 and 2024, lèse-majesté prosecutions surged dramatically. While a tourist is unlikely to be arrested for accidentally stepping on a coin, Thai citizens have received sentences of 30 years or more for far less. In 2015, a factory worker received a 30-year sentence for social media posts deemed insulting to the monarchy, later reduced to 15 years under a guilty plea. The penalty range of 3 to 15 years per offense can be stacked. In a country where the currency literally has a face, where you put your feet matters more than anywhere else on earth. 10 laws, 10 countries, and a reminder that what's perfectly normal in one place can land you in prison in another. Singapore's gum ban, Japan's waist check, Thailand's sacred currency. Which law surprised you most? Tell us in the comments. And if you want more rankings that make you question everything, hit subscribe. We'll see you in the next countdown.